Hey there, it's Mario here, and in this quick video we're going to go into how do you track your macros. So this is a topic that is pretty huge because we know that if we want to maximize our results, we want to be tracking our calories and macros. I mean, that's the least we can do because what isn't being measured isn't managed, the old Peter Drucker quote, right? And we know that we can definitely get results without counting calories, without tracking macros. I mean, certainly you can hit the appropriate amount if you have really good habits, if you've been doing it for a while, or even if you haven't, out of just sheer good lifestyle setup, you can definitely hit those goals. But again, I mean, if your goal is to maximize and if something goes wrong, if you hit a plateau, it's a lot easier if you have the data, if you've been measuring for a while, because you know where to tweak, you know where to look at to make those adjustments. And it's certainly a lot easier if you're dieting down with a coach or someone else. You know exactly which tweaks to make, and you're also learning a lot more in the process. So now that we kind of figured out, okay, we do need to track the damn macros, how do we do so? Well, I like to use the three-tiered system, and this is something that I've adopted from Eric Helms, a very respected nutrition researcher, exercise researcher, great guy, natural bodybuilder, done a lot of good research. I'm going to link a bunch of his papers in the description below. He basically advocates a use of a three-tiered system. Basically, you will kind of label each day as which tier you fall into, and you have a tier to aim at. So what does this really mean in practical sense? Well, let's say tier 1 would be when you hit your carbs and your protein within 10 grams of your target, your fats within 5 grams of your target, and your calories within 100 calories in that day, right? So that's kind of the tier 1. That's kind of the best case scenario. So that day was practically awesome. So that's like 10 out of 10 day. You hit everything within a scope of 10 grams, and you got your calories within 100, right? We don't aim at the exact figures because even the nutrition label itself could be off, and all these other things. I mean, we're never really sure how much the food exactly has. So if you stay within a 10-gram period over a course of a time, that's going to kind of even out, and it's not going to make much of a difference. So we don't need to be very OCD about hitting like exactly 163 grams of protein or like 57.5 grams of fat every day, right? It's not that important to stick to the exact figure. So we have tier 1, which is kind of the best case scenario, and let's say we kind of have the tier 2, which is, let's say, just tracking your calories and your protein. So you're just making sure that you're within 100 calories and that your protein is within 10 grams of your target. So this is a really good day, right? This is a good day, but let's say something happened that day and you ate some fatty food and now you're like, oh shit, my fat went up, so I had to decrease my carbs for this day, and that means that you are in tier 2. So that's still okay. I mean, that's a really good day. It's a really good result. Not much is going to happen in terms of your body composition, especially, I mean, since these days are usually an exception. So it's good to have some kind of structure to identify these days. Well, okay, I just fall back to tier 2 this day. It's cool, I'm going to try to make it to tier 1 another day, and it's going to be fine, right? So you just kind of roll over it. It's completely cool. Calories are intact. Protein is intact. Results are still coming, and the best results are coming, right? So tier 3 is kind of the day where, okay, shit, I didn't manage to get my protein, I got most of it that I could, and then now I can just hit my calories within 100 calories. So you kind of have that day where you couldn't get your protein. It happens. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you're on a vacation, maybe you're somewhere where they don't have access to a lot of protein, and for some reason, on that specific day, you could only get, let's say, 60 or 70% of your daily total protein amount. So now, you just continue to focus on staying within your calories for the day, because that is really what is the most important thing after obviously training and sleep and all these things. Calories do determine the primary change in body composition. So you want to make sure to hit those calories properly within 100 calories. So this is the three-tiered system. I would say most of the time you want to be doing the tier 1, then sometimes you want to fall into tier 2 and tier 3 depending on how consistent you are with each tier. That's how good of a result you can expect as well. Tier 1, definitely, you're going to get the best results. If you stick only to tier 3 without getting the appropriate amount of protein, you might not expect, you probably won't get the best results, but still you're going to get good results. And then there's tier 2, which is a little bit more flexible, which definitely is a really good structure. This whole structure is really awesome when you're transitioning from a cut to a maintenance phase, or a maintenance to, let's say, a lean gaining phase or something like that, because it gives you a clear structure. And you could even do, let's say, a diet break, and then you go from tier 1 to tier 2. Then that diet break is a little bit more flexible, and you have a little bit more rest because you can play around with the carbs and fats. You can try out different foods if you're traveling. If I'm traveling, for example, I'm usually going to be in tier 2 because my fats will likely go up because I'm going to try some local foods, and then my carbs will go a little bit down, but protein and calories are still being intact. So I'm making sure that I'm still in tier 2, so I'm not falling back too much, sometimes in tier 3, right? But if I'm on my default day, if everything is going right, it's going to be a long chain of tier 1s where I'm really hitting it hard and I'm really on point within 10 grams and 5 grams of fat. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be feeling great. I'm going to be getting great results. That's something I recommend for you as well. Have some kind of structure in place. You can use this structure that's recommended by Eric, by me as well. I completely endorse this. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I've tested myself. All my clients are doing this as well, at least those who are doing flexible dieting in terms of tracking their macros. So it's super effective. Aside from that, make sure to let me know in the comments below, I mean, how long you've been tracking your macros. Are you tracking your macros right now? So let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. If you have any questions as well, hit me up there. Aside from that, make sure to hit that subscribe button below to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.